Next topic. What is the flow-through factor? All right. And it's coming to the conclusion here. As you look over like the whole, the chart that you have in front of you, the flow-through factor basically means that life comes to those who give life to others. Life comes to those who give life to others. And that's in the system of nature. If something is giving life to others, basically life flows in that direction. If you start hoarding wealth and holding it back, life goes away from you. It's a sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the circle of life and procreate, all of these things, life goes to those who give life. Now, for yourself, the measurements of this society, what is a millionaire? What will define that? And I'm sure there's not one definition. Is that how much money you made in 1 year? Or is that how much profit that you made? Or is that how much, in your bank account in cash? Or is that your net worth? Who cares what the definition is? It is what it is for you. Okay? There's no human being, there's no people want to know what the definition is so they can show off later on. But I'm telling you, you can set your own measurements, and you'll find that a new class of people are coming out. They're called the new rich or something like that, which are basically people paying for their lifestyle. So they're measuring wealth based on what are you able to afford and what are you able to do and the time that you can spend, inshallah ta'ala. Regardless of all of these things for yourself, you want money to flow through you. That might mean that you will not have $1 million accumulated in cash in your bank account. Okay? As the money flows through you, you might flow it through to employees, you might flow it through to assets, you might flow it through to sadaqah or whatever it is. But as money flows through you, more money comes back to you. So you can imagine two people, right? One person takes this event and says, I want to become a millionaire, and they've hoarded wealth until their bank account said, 7 digits, and then they're like, yes, I'm a millionaire. Someone else came across and said, I want to be a millionaire, but I'm going to delay that 3 years into the future. Any money that comes in, the millions, is going to go back into creating jobs, is going to go back into Qard Hasan, it's going to flow through me. 3 years later, these two people, who will have the $1 million? Is it it's obvious that second person who's going to let the money flow through them is going to make the money, and the person who hoards the money is going to cap out at something like maybe $80,000. And then the money just gets stunted. They run out of effort, they run out of hours, they're stressed out, and the money caps. And the person who let the money flow, there's something else that's going to come up at that point, and that is delegation. I'm going to tell you some things about delegation. I mentioned to you about leverage, right? And so it's like the jack that you lift up the car. Delegation is leverage, where you start working with other people's time and other people's money, okay? Other people's money might be with investment, stuff like that, but other people's time. And how do you successfully manage other people's time? There's something... some person coined it. It was called monkey management. How many of you have heard me explain this before? Monkey management? Okay. So just a few. But monkey management is like this. You imagine here's a boss, right? So you have the president and you have the vice president of operations. They meet in the hallway. The vice president of marketing and the boss. You're the boss and you have a vice president of marketing. The vice president of marketing says, you know what? I don't understand something about autoresponders. I don't know how to set this up. So the boss says, don't worry. I'll do it for you. So imagine that they had a monkey. The vice president of marketing had a monkey on their back, right? And this monkey was send out an autoresponder message. It's a monkey. That is the next action that needs to be done. They go to the boss and say, I don't know how to send out autoresponder messages. The boss says, don't worry, I'll do it for you. And they're like, great. The monkey has now jumped on the back of the boss. The vice president of marketing walks away and woohoo, I can go home early today. And the boss is late at night after he's done all his work, still has work to be done because this monkey's on his back. Is there a picture of a monkey there? Yeah. A gorilla. A gorilla is a monkey too, isn't it? Yeah, okay, just call it. Questions at question time. Okay, so the monkey, so now if you look at a mother with her children, child says, Mama, I can't put my shoes on. Don't worry, I'll do it for you. Give me that monkey, right? And so you'll see the people where that person, remember that chart where it's all the names are going into one person? That's someone who doesn't let things flow through. They are a monkey carrier. Every time they see someone with a monkey, they're like, bring it on. I'll take care of it. Bring it on. What would I do in that situation? Someone comes up to vice president of marketing. I don't know how to do autoresponders. What would I? No, I wouldn't kick him out. Not yet. No, I would say, you know what? Here's a link. Here's a link where they'll teach you everything about autoresponder. Or here's a person who's a professional autoresponder that can give you some advice. Go get it. Right? And they're like, Muhammad, can you do it for me? What did you say? Me do work? And here's the thing, subhanAllah, but the person could come back, excuse number 5 is, you're so arrogant. They're like, Muhammad, subhanAllah, we all do work and you do no work. And I'm like, I know that trick. They're coming with that excuse to kind of like put me into position where I do work. I've actually worked it out in this way, that if I did the work, then the whole company would be stunted. Everything would basically shrink down to my effort. And I've seen my effort's not that strong. My strength is in delegation. My strength is not in actually doing the work. So I can do a graphic design, but it might take me a very long time and stuff like that. It's easier to delegate to multiple graphic designers, and now the work gets done. While you're sleeping, someone else is working on it. Had I done the work myself, the way someone might have suggested, the work would have been hurt if I did it myself. So the leverage is much more powerful than you working on yourself. So remember, the monkey, things related to the monkey, you have 2 types of delegation. One is a hands-on delegation, one is a hands-off delegation. So a hands-on delegation is you've delegated it, you tell the person you do the autoresponders, and before you send it out, check it back with me. Like email it to me so I can review it before you send it. This is like a hands-on management. So basically you're still stuck into the system. And the person, and you're bottlenecking things on yourself. A hands-off management would be like, you're an eagle and I trust your judgment. And if you need any assistance, talk to this person, talk to that person, go and review with them. But I'm not holding you responsible. At the end of the day, you're responsible for this email. Send it out. You're an eagle. I trust you. Again, this goes back to hiring the right person in the first place. You don't get a duck that you're like banging on the head and stuff like that. He's like, give me a break. I'm a duck. You're the dumb one who hired me. Right? You put an eagle and you trust them, and then when you trust people, subhanAllah, they actually perform at the level that you expect. And they perform even better than what you expect. How do you get someone? Here are different levels. This is what we do with Al-Maghrib, and you might consider doing something like that. A lot of people I've noticed when they're starting the business, they always focus on, let's partner up, let's partner up. They find their best friend, and they'll say, you be my partner because you're my best friend. How many people have done that, or they're thinking of doing it? Okay, totally messed up way of getting a partner. This is the first thing. I would not, so someone says to me, for example, I would like to become a partner with Discover You. I'm like, why? Why would I ever consider something like that? Right? Why would I consider what I can get 500 volunteers who are doing what you want to partner up to do? And then, so the first step you want to look at before you partner up with anybody is, can you get a volunteer? And you'll find there's so many volunteers. If you know how to manage, you do proper delegation, you have unlimited resources of volunteers. Even highly skilled, qualified people, someone works at HP and has, a $120,000 job and they have no need for money, why would they want to work for you? Because you do something that's beneficial. And they would love to share in something that's beneficial. And they would do it fi sabilillah. And if you know, and they're an A player, you need to be an A leader to be able to manage someone like that. And they're so happy to see that the effort that they've put in has actually benefited people. They'd be even more willing to help out. So the volunteer level, next level up that, you need someone to give you some really concentrated effort. You would look to contracting with a person. So someone says, hire me to do this for the next 25,000 years. Like, what are you talking about? I just need you for about 2 weeks. And I'll give you, for example, $500, get this done, right? And the person says, inshallah ta'ala, I'll take it. So it's a contract, right? Once you put in a contract, you don't have this, you're consistently trying to pay the person monthly. After the work is end, you're still stuck with this employee. The next level, where you really need the person on a consistent basis to always work with you and stuff like that, you put in an employee contract with this person. In an employee contract, what I would do is, it's funny, sometimes a person will come up to me and say, I would like to do this. And I would say, would you like to be paid for it, or you want to do it voluntarily? If you're doing it voluntarily, go ahead and do it. It's no big deal. It's just added, whatnot. If you want to be paid for it, you've entered into a new market. That means that you are now competing with a whole bunch of people that are willing to be paid for it. So you're in much tougher competition. Once you want to be paid for it. You want to volunteer, alhamdulillah, it's no big deal, you just volunteer. But if you want to be paid, there's a lot more competition. Here's what I would do if I had an employee. I would make a list of 10 worst case scenarios. Things like, what if we start hating each other? And I'm serious. What if our relationship becomes toxic? What will we do? This is like day one. What if you steal money from the company? What will we do? What if I don't pay you? What will you do? Or what will we do? You go through a worst case scenario, and then you sit down with that employee and say, how will we resolve this? One of the ways that I've found that is like a catch-all for many of these things is you have a 1, 2, 3 strikeout type of policy. So the person does something. What if they come late for work? Once, they're forgiven. Twice, they're reprimanded kind of thing. You're spoken about 3 times, you're out. And they understand that. What if I don't give you a paycheck? You know what? If I'm not giving the paycheck, here's someone that you speak to. It will be paid immediately, inshallah ta'ala. Don't hesitate. Come and tell us right away because your paycheck will come on time. What if our relationship gets toxic? Then you know what? This thing's over because our relationship is more important than this employee type of thing. So you agree from the beginning. Person signs it. You sign it. All the worst case scenarios are there and done. Now you have an employee contract that's a real contract. Everything that could possibly, because usually, like you were saying, these are the requirements type of contract. So many messed up things happen after that. You start hating the person, they hate you, they come late for work. None of that stuff was in the contract. But if you had put it in the contract in the beginning, now you both know what you're dealing with, right? There's a whole checklist of how those things are taken care of. So after you get someone who's like a worker and they're such an excellent worker, if you're going to partner up with someone, they have to be someone in another skill set on this chart. If you're in operations, you're a professional operations, don't ever partner with someone who's an operations person. Because you're just redundancy, you just contract them or get them as a volunteer, something like that, right? You don't partner up with them. You'd partner up ideally with the marketing master. If you find marketing masters, partner up with them. They're the ones you partner up with. Or sometimes if you're trying to build a business and trying to automate it and stuff like that, you might partner up with a master vice president of operations that can take everything underneath you and just take care of everything like that. Those are some key positions that you might think of partnering with someone, but still, even in those positions, you might be able to get a person on salary depending on what your business is and so on and so forth. And some people, they don't even like to be partnered. They just want to get their salary at the end of the day and then they're done, inshallah.